Today we'll be watching the World Championships for Sword and Shield. It's crazy because since the COVID pandemic happened, we haven't had a World Championship for it yet, and it came out in 2019. So in 2022, 3 years later, we're going to get our first and final championship for Sword and Shield. All right, so we got our players here. First, we got Eduardo and Guillermo. I'm pretty sure the community calls Eduardo Edu. Like, I've watched this guy on stream a few times on his Twitch channel. I've straight up just ripped off teams from him. He's that good. And Guillermo's obviously very good too. You can see all their accomplishments on screen here. And I just realized no one from the US made it into the finals. Sad day. Whatever. Okay, so Edu is using Calyrex Shadow and Zacian. And Guillermo is using Groudon and Lunala. Now, I point out the legendaries for a reason because the format right now is where you bring 2 restricted legendaries, pretty much box legendaries. So you're allowed to bring 2 restricted legendaries, and the rest of your team can be anyone available from Pokemon Sword Shield, Isle of Armor, or Crown Tundra. And your team is usually built around those 2 box legendaries that you bring. Zacian, no surprise. Zacian is by far the most used legendary. I would even say the meta is centralized around it, meaning that every team needs to prepare for Zacian on how to deal with it more than any other Pokemon. Calyrex Shadow is a very hyper offensive Pokemon from my experience because whenever they get a KO, their ability allows their special attack to even grow more. And then Groudon is personally my favorite legendary to use in this format, and Lunala is actually not a super common pick you see. It's not like super rare, but it's definitely not like a top tier pick. Groudon and Zacian are definitely ones seen a lot. So I know a lot of people are kind of standoffish to competitive Pokemon when it's this format with legendaries, but this is actually one of my favorites in Sword and Shield because Dynamax not only doubles your bulk when you Dynamax, but you can also sweep the other team with a powerful move that gives you, whether it be a speed boost, defense boost, whatever it may be, and it also increases your partner's Pokemon also, because this is doubles format. What could happen is if you Dynamax and got a good turn 1, you not only knock out the other person's Dynamax, but you also just snowballed by having this power increase on your side. So before the legendaries were introduced into the competitive format, things were more frail. But now with legendaries, generally speaking, I would say all 3 of these legendaries, maybe not Calyrex Shadow, but Calyrex Shadow is still not super frail. It's just not as frail as the other 3 we're seeing here. They stick around longer, which means we have more methodical gameplay, longer games, and it's not just hyper offense win in 3 turns. No, we actually get big brain plays that happen. So that's why I like this more than other formats that have happened in Sword and Shield. All right, we're getting into the first game. But first, a word from our sponsor, Bloodline Heroes of Lithis. This is a free-to-play game for both Android and iOS. Bloodline is a card-based fantasy RPG with a Western fantasy art style and visually stunning 3D graphics. As you collect champions from this vast world, you'll build your own kingdom where the possibilities are endless. Choose your path in the game's story by merging bloodlines to raise the perfect heirs. Just for logging in, you can get the Clan of Karg for free. And if you're into werewolves, there's a Lycanus clan with super cool designs. Each and every hero can become a companion to the player and each other. You can freely switch their genders and unlock more companions for free simply by leveling up. Let's say we marry a demigod and a dragonborn. Together, they create an even stronger offspring. Develop their family tree to pass down the best traits until you find the best combination that suits your gameplay style. You can also obtain a half dragonborn, half demigod for free when you download the game now using my link in the description below. And don't forget to use my gift code to redeem 1 champion token along with 100 diamonds. Thank you, Bloodline, for sponsoring today's video. All right, interesting. So he leads Regieleki and Lunala, and then Edu leads Gastrodon and Rillaboom. These are all very good Pokemon. Regieleki is the fastest Pokemon ever. Rillaboom is crazy good because it gets the grassy terrain with its Grassy Glide move, which prioritizes it, meaning it goes first most of the time. And then you got Gastrodon, which is usually a big Kyogre counter. Now, we don't have Kyogre on either team here, but for Regieleki cannot touch Gastrodon. Yeah, so withdrawing Regieleki there makes sense because he can't really do much to either of them. And Incineroar, when we're not talking about legendaries, they are by far the most used non-legendary Pokemon because of their Intimidate ability, which lowers the opponent's attack stats. Lunala protects. Interesting. I wonder what they're looking out for. Okay, so Rillaboom's got knockoff. So obviously that was quad super effective against Lunala's typing. So good protect there. Oh, and this looks like it's a speed control Gastrodon. Interesting. So that's cool. So that makes it where you don't only have to rely on using it against Kyogre. See, like Kyogre may not be on the other team, but you could also get speed control because Icy Wind targets both of the opponents and lowers their speed by 1 stage. All right, Incineroar uses Fake Out. Another reason why it's so good. So Rillaboom is flinch this turn. Lunala has Hypnosis. What? That is such a risky move to have on. Oh my goodness. It's only, what, 60% accurate if I recall correctly? I wonder if that has a wide lens or anything. That's very much an item you do not see at this high level of competition. But geez, that is, holy smokes. I understand why people run it, because getting a sleep on Dynamax is so crucial, like just to waste your Dynamax turns, your opponent's Dynamax turns. All right, Lunala's protecting again. Rillaboom's asleep. I wonder, is he going to Flare Blitz the Incineroar? Wow, Gastrodon's got Yawn too. Okay, this is very utility-driven Gastrodon. Parting Shot, interesting. So Parting Shot's a great move because you can kind of pivot and have better board control. What it does is it lowers the attack and special attack of the targeted Pokemon, and then you get a free switch into someone else. All right, so there's Groudon. Groudon brings out the sun, that's why it's one of the reasons so good. Not only a powerful Pokemon, but it also provides the sun for other Pokemon like Charizard, who has the ability Solar Power, increasing their power in the sun. All right, Lunala's gone. What's going on here? Bringing back Incineroar. It looks like he's just weakening that Rillaboom as much as possible, because Rillaboom can really do a lot of damage to Groudon being weak to grass. But now that Rillaboom's attack has been cut in half after 2 Intimidates. Groudon's protecting too, so that's not Assault Vest Groudon. Dang, that Rillaboom is asleep forever. Dang. Not that it probably would have mattered. He probably would have gone Grassy Glide into Groudon. All right, he's taking back Rillaboom. Rillaboom's still asleep, but likely to wake up the next turn it's used, so not too bad. Okay, we got Thundurus here. So I wonder if this is a more offensive Thundurus or a more support Thundurus, because if it's more offensive, usually you have to Dynamax your Thundurus. Oh, interesting. He didn't bring Zacian. So if you don't know the official competitive rules, you bring 4 of your 6 Pokemon. And Zacian, has a lot of good matchups, but, it kind of loses to Groudon in some scenarios, and Charizard and Incineroar counter it too. So interestingly enough, even though Zacian's one of the best, it's not being used in this first game. And Groudon went for Swords Dance earlier, so that thing just doubled its power. All right, so Thundurus is already piecing out once it came in. And now we're here with Gastrodon. All right, we're going to see our first Dynamax, like 99% sure it's Groudon. I mean, it just got a Swords Dance boost, for crying out loud. And since Edu didn't bring their Incineroar, this thing's pretty much free to attack without worry of losing any power from its Max Quakes or whatever it's going to use. Ooh, Calyrex with the Will-O-Wisp. Great. Okay, so just when I said the Groudon has no worry, Will-O-Wisp not only burns them, but it cuts in half the attack stat. Not the attack stat, but just the attack damage they produce. And that was a great switch out of the Thundurus, because he baited the rock attack, the max rock fall, and Gastrodon obviously resists that. So he essentially wasted one of his opponent's Dynamax turns. So that Incineroar had Throat Chop, and Calyrex was still able to hang in there because Focus Sash, you live on 1 HP with the Focus Sash if it's a one-hit KO attack. But because they did the max rockfall earlier, that produced a Sandstorm. So Calyrex died anyways. All right, Thundurus is back. Any of Edu's Pokemon, he can Dynamax. Like, the only Pokemon I wouldn't Dynamax is probably Incineroar, unless under very rare circumstances. So Edu's not out by any means. All right, Incineroar switches out and comes in Regieleki. Thundurus is protecting. I wonder if he's expecting a Rockfall. Yup, Rockfall. See, that was kind of a safer Rockfall, because even if Thundurus went out, like, Rillaboom still would take a big hit from it. Gastrodon with Earth Power into Regieleki. I wonder how powerful this Gastro is and how bulky that Regieleki is. Obviously not bulky enough. Went down to 1 hit. And that Gastrodon has leftover, so it recovers a 16th of their HP at the end of every turn. I'm curious what held item Thundurus has, because a common one I would use a lot is Assault Vest, and it was more aggressive, but you can't run Protect if you have Assault Vest. Okay, Lunala's here. We got 2 non-legendaries versus 2 legendaries. Oh, baby. Thundurus taunts. Awesome. I wonder if he's got Trick Room. Trick Room can make the slower Pokemon go first for a few turns. And Taunt disables opponents to not use any non-damaging moves. But the Lunala is not going for a non-damaging move. It's straight up going for damage. Moongeist beaming into Gastrodon. Groudon Max Quakes into Gastrodon. Oh, wow. So not only did they get a KO, but Groudon and Lunala are both going to get special defense boosts now from that Max Quake. Okay, Edu's down to 2 Pokemon while Guillermo has all 4, but Edu has not used his Dynamax yet. That can really swing things. I say he did an all right job on, you know, stalling out those Dynamax turns too. So it's not over. Oh, and my bad. I said Reggie like he's gone. I said it was 2 to 4, but yeah, nowhere near over. All right, we're gonna see the Dynamax here. Now, oh, it's in a Beast Ball. That's pretty cool. The tough thing is Incineroar can lower their attack, but if this Thundurus is Defiant, anytime it gets a stat lowered, it actually has its attack stat go up 2 stages. And if that's the case, Guillermo's kind of in a pickle here with whether he can bring in Incineroar or not. Grassy Glide into Lunala. Okay, so he breaks the Shadow Shield, which makes the first attack Lunala gets hit by cut in half. So it's important getting whatever chip damage you can right away on Lunala. All right, Lunala's gone. Airstream. And now they both just got a little faster thanks to that Airstream move. And Rock Tomb does not kill. Lowers Thundurus' stats. Is it Defiant? It is. Okay, this is a powerful Thundurus right now. Holy smokes. All right, so Incineroar's here. What we're going to see now is the Intimidate go off, lowering both attack. But now Thundurus is going to get even more powerful. So Edu really played the late game with this Dynamax and kept Thundurus in the back so that way he could just easily KO the opponents while they had no more Dynamax. Now, something Incineroar unfortunately can't do here is you could fake out to flinch, but when a Pokemon's Dynamax, they cannot flinch while in that form. So they double... Oh, no, they don't double in. So it looks like Rillaboom went for Groudon. Thundurus took out the Incineroar with yet another Max Airstream. Yeah, so it looks like Edu's going to take this first game. And this is going to be best of 3, so we'll see how it ends. Rock Tomb into Rillaboom. I mean, either way, no matter who he targets, he lost. Edu's won this. All right, so it looks like Guillermo forfeited. And, you know, forfeiting is actually a good strategy, not always, you know, sticking it out to the end. If you know it's impossible to win, because a big thing about Pokemon is you can reveal movesets, your held items, maybe how you EV train them, like what you can survive, what you can kill. So sometimes when you know there's no way out, like it's good to forfeit so that way you don't reveal a lot of information. All right, so it's going to be interesting to see how Guillermo, you know, pivots his strategy or what they're going to do here. Like, do you bring in Grimmsnarl, who's really good at setting up screens? Charizard for just, you know, to roll through things with their Dynamax, their Gigantamax. And Edu, does he go to the same 4 or does he think about bringing in Incineroar to maybe weaken Guillermo's Groudon and other Pokemon? I think not bringing Zacian is the play. Like, Zacian, you know, does some work, but, you know, you got better Pokemon to deal against Pokemon like the likes of Groudon and Charizard. So I don't think we'll see Zacian. Oh, never mind. They highlight Zacian at the top, so there's Zacian. Zacian's super good. It has the ability Intrepid Sword. It already has a busted attack stat, and then that ability just increases its attack stat immediately coming in. So such a strong powerhouse. Even if Incineroar comes in to intimidate it, it's still at its regular power set before the attack boost happened. Here, we do see the Grimmsnarl. Oh, we're going to see a Dynamax first. I bet you $1 million that Grimmsnarl is going to set up a Reflect. All right, Thundurus. Okay, yeah, so this is definitely a more offensive Thundurus. I wonder what the item is. Yeah, he's got to go for the Reflect. Let me see the Reflect. Oh, nope, another Dynamax. Oh, yeah, Charizard is one you usually got Dynamax. Charizard's not that good outside of Dynamax, but it does have a Gigantamax form, and the reason why it's so good is its Gmax Wildfire gives crazy residual damage for 4 turns, taking 1/6 of each of the opponent's Pokemon HP at the end of the turn, so can do really well. Oh, Scary Face. Okay. Scary Face is cool. So the one thing that's so good about Grimmsnarl is it has the Prankster ability, which means when you do a non-damaging move, you can usually go first as a higher priority. So Scary Face cuts in half the speed of its target. Thundurus did a Max Airstream, so, you know, you can recover some of that speed. But look at that. The Scary Face into Zacian. Oh, Zacian survives. Holy smokes. That is a huge survive there. That's a bulky Zacian. Usually, I don't know, almost no Zacians live just straight up a Gmax Wildfire from Charizard. And then they take out the Grimmsnarl with a one-hit KO Behemoth Blade. Yeah, so Zacian doesn't survive because of the Wildfire residual damage. Oh, man, this is interesting because Thundurus has a speed boost and is obviously better against Charizard than Charizard is against Thundurus. But Charizard, even if it goes down the next turn, even when it goes to the grave, it's going to be inflicting damage with that Wildfire. All right, Calyrex is here and Groudon. I gotta say, this is looking good for Edu because with Thundurus's Airstream boost, it can just Airstream again, and Calyrex is already faster than Charizard and Groudon naturally. So Guillermo's really the one that has to figure out how to play around getting hit. Okay, Charizard max guard, so Charizard's safe this turn. Thunderous max lightnings, okay. Calyrex uses Astral Barrage. That's still going to hit Groudon. Okay, almost half the HP. Groudon's got some good bulk, which is good. All right, he's using the P-Blade signature move. There's a lot to Calyrex. However, he can't do a similar... Okay, look, there's the Wildfire damage. Guillermo can't do a similar turn. Well, the Groudon could survive another Astral Barrage, actually. So let's see what happens. Yeah, so Max Lightning. Charizard's dead here. No way he survives. Okay, so Guillermo's already lost his Dynamax, and Eduardo's still got one turn, I believe, right? No, he's got 2 turns because he max guarded the previous one. So, yeah, Thundurus is done with Dynamax at the end of this. Astral Barrage. That actually... Oh, it doesn't kill Groudon! Okay, so the reason why the commentators were thinking that would kill was because, you know, spread moves do a little less damage when targeting 2 targets. However, there was just one, and Groudon stuck in there and then got the revenge for his buddy Charizard and killed Calyrex. All right, so we got Rillaboom and Incineroar in here. Incineroar's going to power up Thundurus. This is looking really tough for Guillermo. I don't know how Guillermo wins this. Is this the end? I think Eduardo is our world champion. Oh, you know the one thing... Incineroar does have Fake Out, so he has to choose, does he Fake Out Rillaboom or Thundurus? If he leaves up Rillaboom, if he leaves up either of them, they can just kill Groudon. But the Groudon can protect. Eduardo's got to read what Guillermo's going to do. Okay, Rillaboom has Fake Out too. Fakes out Incineroar, so Rillaboom's faster. Wow, charge into Incin. Oh, wow. Okay. Recoil damage. What's Groudon going for? Rock Tomb. So he wants that Thundurus gone. Oh, baby. Okay, Guillermo just turned this around. Oh, wow. Okay, so... Oh, and then there's the Wildfire damage. And then Grassy Terrain heals everyone that's grounded for just a bit of HP. Okay, I just ate my words. Guillermo totally turned this around. That's why he's such a good player. I mean, he's got to go for Incineroar, right? He has more of a chance to survive a hit from Groudon. Unless this Groudon has a fire move, but I don't think it does. Groudon has Rock Tomb, so he's slowing down Rillaboom. That way, Incineroar can probably now be faster than Rillaboom and Flare Blitz. Yep, okay. Good job, Guillermo. Wow, great ending. Wow, this is a Hype World Finals. I really did not like Eduardo bringing Zacian. Like, right before the match, I was just saying how much he didn't need Zacian. And Zacian literally did nothing that match. I promise you, if you've never seen competitive Pokemon in this format, Zacian is good, trust me. It just kind of got owned, that battle. They both have cool shirts. Guillermo's got the blue shirt. Oh, they both got blue shirts, if you know what I mean. Yeah, I like both of them. All right, here we go. Final game, baby. Okay, Grimmsnarl and Charizard. Guillermo's like, you know, this worked last time. Oh, and Eduardo brings Zacian again. All right, so we got the same leads as the last battle. So Eduardo's got to be careful for that scary face again. But will Guillermo do the same move he did last time? That may be too predictable, but maybe that would psych Eduardo out. Maybe getting into the mind games here. All right, Eduardo Dynamaxing turn 1, looking fancy in that suit. We're going to see Thundurus. Zacian can't Dynamax, for those that don't know. It's just so good that Pokemon had to nerf it. Well, they didn't even nerf it. They just released it where they said you can't Dynamax. Charizard protects. Really? Okay, if Thundurus goes for Max Lightning, that's still going to do a lot of damage. Okay, there's the Reflect I was talking about that would probably happen last battle, but now it's happening here. The Reflect's going to cut in half the damage done by physical moves. So depending how defensively bulky this Grimmsnarl is. Let's see how Behemoth Blade does. Yeah, Behemoth Blade still knocks out Grimmsnarl. Man, so busted. Max Airstream, interesting. So he kind of went for a safer play there. I respect that. Because the reason you don't go for Max Lightning is what if he switches into Groudon? You just lost your Dynamax turn because Max Lightning doesn't affect Groudon. But Max Airstream not only does some chip damage, it also increases their speed. So now you got Thundurus and Zacian, who are already fast Pokemon, even faster now. So similar to the last match, Guillermo's definitely got the slower Pokemon right now. He's the one that's got to figure out how to play around these faster Pokemon. So Thundurus should be a lot safer to Max Lightning. Like, worst case scenario, they switch into Regieleki, who's, you know, they probably would still take a decent chunk from Max Lightning because they're not the most bulky Pokemon. Guillermo does have the Reflect Up, though. That's really good. The Grimmsnarl probably had Light Clay item, which makes screens last 8 turns rather than 5 turns. All right, here's Gigantamax Charizard. So here's the thing is they could Eduardo can probably take out the Charizard if he doubles into the Charizard. Yep, Behemoth Blade. Oh, baby. This move is so broken. So not only does this have base 120 power, but when they're in Dynamax form, it deals double damage. So the Reflect and the Fire typing definitely helped there, but still did a chunk. Then Max Lightning, Charizard's gone. Oh, that's huge. Guillermo's Charizard down the turn of Dynamaxes. So Guillermo's pretty much playing this match with no Dynamax. Oh man, that Life Orb on Thundurus. So what Life Orb does is it takes away 10% of your HP after every attack, but your power gets boosted by 30% for every move you use. Groudon tried using P-Blades, didn't do too much. Incineroar here, boosting Thundurus. Oh man, this is looking so good for Eduardo. I don't know how Guillermo comes back. And yeah, Groudon's P-Blades did do a lot. I just mean Thundurus is the threat right now. Zacian can die. It doesn't matter. Zacian doesn't matter. And he hasn't done any switching. Oh, Zacian's protecting here. Probably to dodge the fake out. No, okay. No fake out. Airstream into Incineroar. Incineroar lives. Yeah, that Incineroar would be dead if that Reflect wasn't there. I mean, is he gonna... He's got to go for Rock Tomb or something, right? Yeah, he's going for Rock Tomb. This is GG. I mean, the Incineroar can't pivot because, you know, Guillermo's got no more Pokemon in the back. Flare Blitz. Okay, Thundurus is gone. Okay, so he got the big threat. He called the Protect on the Zacian too. So Zacian just kind of wasted his turn protecting. All right, yeah, there you go. I say I don't know how Guillermo can get out of this, but Guillermo just, you know, did the better play that turn. Calyrex. That's so hard. Eduardo's our world champion, right? Eduardo is using Behemoth Blade. Okay, he's going into Groudon. I see the big threat as Incineroar here. Because if he's got well, I guess it depends who Eduardo has in the back. But if he has Rillaboom, if he's targeting Groudon, yeah, I wonder who he's got in the back. We may not know. Incineroar's gone. Look at that. Now Calyrex is even more powerful. Special attack boost because they got a KO. Groudon going in. Okay, Zacian dead. See, but I think Calyrex wins this. All right, so we do get to see Eduardo's fourth Pokemon. I wonder who it is. Yep, Rillaboom. Okay. Yeah, Eduardo's our world champion. Calyrex is faster, has a special attack boost. Rillaboom, not faster, but pretty much is because it's got the priority Grassy Glide on the grassy terrain, and that's the game. Guillermo sees no way out. Wow, congrats, Eduardo. That was crazy. Wow, well-deserved. High-level play on both ends. And look at that pop-off. This guy's... I know that... I'm not super into this guy's history, but he's been obviously playing for a long time. And, you know, after years of playing and finally getting a world championship... Dang. Eduardo is our world champion for our first and last Pokemon Sword Championship held in London. All right, so thanks for watching the video. If you guys want to see more Pokemon content, I do more on this channel, so subscribe, hit the like button to support the video, and you all have a good one. Thanks.